and Eric Sheetsaber. I'm not $1 million richer from last night. I felt like I made some of the right plays and some of the wrong ones, but I felt actually pretty good about it overall. But Sheets, how did the soccer thing go earlier? And then we'll talk about this. Absolutely, it's going to be the same people complaining that, hey, why do 40 people have the same lineups? Which I've already been going through people in Discord with. If you have a slate like yesterday, 95% of the people play Drummond, and then 52% play Jackson, you're going to end up with duplicate lineups all over the place in those situations.
I have no question.
I just wanted to point out that don't expect anything different tonight. So go ahead, Sheets.
Well, I have first of all question. Who's Jackson?
Jackson?
Yeah.
What did I say? Jackson instead of Drummond? Why do I get it wrong with Drummond every time?
Yeah,
no, not Jackson last night. It was Jalen Smith. Not Isaiah Jackson.
I didn't play any Jalen Smith.
He was 52% on. He was announced starting about 5 minutes.
Well, I only had one lineup. I keep forgetting.
Well, he was obviously like the correct. The thing everybody did was they played he and Drummond in the center spots, which really narrows your range down. And no matter what, so at the top of all the single entries, you had a lot of people tying for first on a 9-game slate. People were complaining about it. I'm like, well, you take away that activity level from the Bulls, and people are going to play either Drummond, White, or whatever to go with it. I'm sorry, or DeRozan, White, or whatever to go with it, and you already have like a very narrow build. So it's going to happen again tonight, is what I was going to say.
For me, it wasn't a lack of trying. I went out to dinner and I was locked into this Jaden Ivey play. If what's his name was out, but it wasn't clear until when I left. So I put Sohan in the point guard position just for the time being, and we're literally on our way to dinner. And I said, Matt, you have one job at like 5:50, 6:50, just because they kept on waiting for the Killian Hayes thing. So you have to tell me about Killian Hayes at like 5:50, at 6:50. So at 6:50 he did it. He said, "Oh, Killian Hayes out," so I played Ivy, and then I was going to pivot from Nembhard to Mathurin. I mean, nothing didn't really work, but they ended up playing both of them, and then I left Ayton in expecting to get a situation where they would start the def ref guy, and then I could play Moses Brown off the bench. The exact opposite thing happened. And I totally screwed up the lineups that I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I'd be leaving like $1 million on the table.
Right, and that's what ended up happening.
So I messed it up. But that was the idea, by the way. At the end,
it was the idea until Isaiah Jackson until Jalen Smith was starting. Like I was with you on that, okay. And then I just that's why. I mean, what was he 4% owned, Moses Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what he can't be owned because
Moses Brown was only 4%.
He couldn't be. This is the point. They're all centers.
Right.
So 95% goes to Drummond, 52% goes to Smith.
Oh, then I would have played Moses Brown. I wanted to play. I thought that Moses Brown would be chalky, then I could play the other guy coming off the bench.
No, but there was nothing to worry about anymore because it was all about those early games, and that's what we had dialed in. Right. I was tilted because I thought I put the wrong Bogdanovich into my early lineup, which all I wanted. So I had two lineups in the big one. I had Bogdanovich, the wrong Bogdanovich, same price, same position.
I saw that.
And that really bothered me because it was going to allow me to shift and pivot in ways. And I still thought I came up with a good solution, which was playing Şengün who put up 63, and he was 4% owned because, again, everybody was going to do the same thing at center. So, you take your shots on those situations. And
I have a couple of comments. First of all, I think the soccer thing went great. I did a full hour of live soccer and basically fumbled through all the research and stuff. And I actually had a couple of soccer guys that they joined from RotoWire or whatever, kind of joined in there, and was just commenting and stuff like that. It was very useful.
Nice.
I didn't win the slate.
Nice.
It was. I didn't win the slate or anything, but it was good. It was a good experience, and hopefully we'll do more. The other question I have for you before we get into this is, you're saying you expect the same type of thing tonight. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. I don't even know who the chalk guy is. So why don't you tell me?
You don't think Day'Ron Sharpe is going to be the most popular player?
I didn't necessarily think so.
Interesting.
I didn't run anything yet. I mean, I was just waiting for all these guys to be ruled out.
So I'm expecting Day'Ron Sharpe to be somewhere in the 80% range.
I can't imagine that being the case.
You said that last night about Drummond.
No,
not Drummond. You didn't say it. You said it the other night about the other.
No. There's so many ways to. There are a billion guys out for every team. I mean,
that's a great outlook to have. That's really good. Like we don't have Giannis news officially yet, unless I missed something.
We don't have Luka news either.
We don't have Luka news, and that's a game that doesn't start till 8:30 Eastern. So I guess the problem is though, you already had all the value in the Philly game, and I'll just say Tobias Harris will be in all my lineups tonight.
That's your favorite one of those guys? Because I don't know what my favorite of those guys is either.
Maxi's my favorite. I'm happy to look past the other night and get him at way lower ownership than he should be. The problem is you can't play because you have to use the Dennis Smith Jr. value if he starts. And I think he is actually officially starting.
Yeah, well, that's who I thought you would like the most.
Those are the two. It's assuming they both start. Dennis Smith Jr., Day'Ron Sharpe are going to be the most popular.
Well, I'll tell you what I like. Okay, so I mean, just stupidly off the top of my head here,
there's definitely not more value than last night, though. I don't think that's
I think there's a lot more.
So what is the other value? Because last night you ended up with a 3K starting center. You had a 4,100 starting guy who put up 29. You had a 4,600 starting guy who put up 68. So I don't know if there's any better value than that.
I guess. I mean, but like the Nets have like, I don't know, man. You could get Cam Thomas with like 60 tonight. No, I mean,
but even if you do, the guys who were 4,700 were getting the 60s last night.
No. I see that, but then like all these other plays, like why is all of a sudden like Mo Bamba and Paul Reed not like smash plays anymore? Why is all these Toronto guys not good plays anymore? Why if Luka's ruled out, don't you want to be there for Hardy? If Luka gets ruled out, and that's like a really big deal because I think if Luka gets ruled out, I think Hardy's probably the best of everyone, but we don't know what that's going to be.
Right.
We don't have that information yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really clear.
Well, not to mention that if Luka plays, he's projected like 1 million points higher than everybody else on the slate. So
right,
it's a really tricky situation.
And I'll tell you who I like from that net game. I like the Watford.
So that's a get different play to me. But
yeah.
Forget the ownership. What is projected? I guess no. Never mind. He's got the power forward eligibility. Sorry, Sheets. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Watford. How about Harry Giles?
Or Harry Giles? I mean, this game is a shit show. You know what I mean? So not to mention the fact I can't think of a single reason why Giannis would play in this game. Now that Brooklyn did what they did. I just do you think he's going to play?
Do I think Giannis will play?
I mean, we'll know soon enough, but why would he?
I think Giannis.
It should be like a third. First of all, why is the spread only 8 for openers?
I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's more likely that he doesn't play, but I don't think it's a guarantee. He's a different type of guy.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but it is a back-to-back, right? First end.
Yeah.
And they're, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't think the slate is clear. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday
there was 11 guys who were under 5K who all like 8X'd.
Well, heading towards lock yesterday before everything was like, okay, there's no value. We're just waiting for something. Then Drummond hit bang, and then Jalen Smith hit bang, right? So boom. I wasn't there for the Jalen Smith one. Okay, so but I was certainly there for the Drummond one. So the slate to me was clear since noon. Like
except there was no value. Except for then there was the Ayton piece, which is sort of like somewhat of a Luka-ish because Jabari Walker got there in a big way.
That's right.
He was on all the winning lineups.
I can't see me playing anybody from Phoenix. I guess that's one thing I could put in. I mean, I don't think Nurkic, and there's just too much other stuff. I don't think I want to play. Well, what about Houston? I mean, is what's his name? Dylan Brooks is out.
Yeah,
Sean Tate maybe 3,800.
Well, what's going to happen is that you're going to get what's his name ruled out possibly with Easton on the back-to-back. He may play because of no Brooks, and he's a good play if he plays. If he doesn't play, then you probably are thinking about Amen Thompson. The problem is a position eligibility, but he's the right answer to me because they are giving him more run. And if you take away Brooks and Eason, I think he gets some of those minutes. And he's an active guy, so he's 3,300. Just to throw that out there, he would be the one I would consider looking towards. And I do think there's a reasonably good chance that Luka sits. So I guess, and I'm not playing multiple big. I'm playing one big lineup tonight. So it's a question of, do you want to do that? Do you want to pretend Luka's sitting and play the other pieces of that game, or And by the way,
if you play Luka and don't leave room, you might end up playing Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And leaving 2,000 on the table or something, whatever that is.
Yep. So the question is whether, unless you did it like multiple ways, like if you played, I guess you could play Luka and Derrick Jones Jr. or something.
Yeah. And then you could go to Mitchell and something else, right?
Yeah, Mitchell and Allen or something like that, like just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But the problem is for me, I'm going to do what everybody's afraid to do because of a 1-game sample size where he had 5 fouls in 15 minutes.
Oh, Paul Reed.
I'm going to I'll play Paul Reed in every lineup, I think. And I think I'm going to play, what's his name in every lineup? Sharp. So I don't think I have the centers option. Except for the only thing I'll do differently is I would consider Harry Giles and Mo Bamba as reasonable pivots. And the fact that Mo Bamba's not getting any ownership after the other night is
that's crazy.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Right? Like he dominated, but partly he dominated because of the 5 fouls in 15 minutes that went to, and he played better. But
he made every shot. I mean, Mo Bamba was 3 for 3 from 3.
Yeah.
8 for 10 from the field. 2 steals, like 1 turnover. You know what I mean? Like that's.
When he played the minutes to do, and he can fill it up with the minutes. Right. People also pointed out it is a little revenge thing.
What do you think of this this idea that Michael Bridges is just basically fraudulently playing?
What about Bridges? Bridges is not playing?
No. So Michael Bridges is supposed to play. But apparently they did this like the last couple, like 2 or 3 times where they wanted to sit everyone, but he has this long streak of never missing a game that he's trying to maintain. And so the last couple of times they did this, they played him the minimum that the NBA would credit him for minutes and then pulled him. Now they apparently changed the rules this year where he's got to play like a minimum of 20 or something like that to qualify for a games played, but I can't imagine why they wouldn't do the same thing today. Just play him whatever the minimum is, then get him out of there.
Why do we think Milwaukee is so good that they're not going to like lose this game? Like this is not Milwaukee from last year. Like,
well, if that's the case, then Cam Thomas gets 80, right? I mean, like,
not necessarily though. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. Straight up, I think they're
him too. I mean, yeah, whatever. Whoever should be shooting the ball. I mean, like,
yeah, but you do have, they'll give like Keon Johnson, they could give Keon Johnson run. I don't know what that does, but like, yeah, I guess you need other creative. I mean, Cam Thomas, sure, as a tournament play for sure. I get it. But I think that is a good point with Bridges. The problem is it's not like you get the best guys like backing him up that are easy to project. What your most active spots are going to be. And by the way, even if Day'Ron Sharpe doesn't start tonight, I'm probably still going to play him in every lineup, except for maybe where I have Harry Giles or Trendon White, or I'm doing something weird, But yeah, I think you have to be overexposed to the Nets tonight. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. I just don't know. Listen, I'm very confident in the Dennis Smith Jr.'s got to be the best player.
I think he and Day'Ron Sharpe are right there. Yeah.
Well, only because I only mentioned that maybe not Day'Ron Sharpe because he's got like legitimate like competition at that position at similar prices. The
only thing he doesn't really have competition because none of those guys are actually competition. He plays every day with Claxton. He put up 42 yesterday. He put up 41 2 games ago. Put up 33 the game before that. It's not like he doesn't get there in like 15 minutes all the time. I don't really know what the argument would be against Day'Ron Sharpe. Except you want to random variants, I guess.
You want a pivot at the position. You play Pirtle. You do that.
See, I don't think you need a pivot because I think you need to play Paul Reed.
Okay.
I think you need to play Paul Reed or Bamba. That's just my take.
That's what I was thinking before this Day'Ron Sharpe business is coming up.
I think you play both. I think that's what you do. Like and great. So then you get a lower owned version of it where you play Bamba and Sharpe, or maybe you want to get really low owned. You play
Bamba, Sharpe, and Reed and Sharpe. That's what you do, huh?
Was that?
You just play Bamba and Sharpe or Reed and Sharpe, and then
that's what I think you do. Yeah. Or you play one of them with maybe Giles or something like that. Giles is the hey, if there's going to be a blowout, we know Giles can put up 25 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but that's all the minutes the guy can play. It's like
that's the problem. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of stuff, but I do think you just starting off with. I don't care if it's going to work every time. I think it's going to work such an astronomical, and I think it's a path where like Day'Ron Sharpe Dennis Smith Jr. like might be one of the 5 highest scoring players on the slate. Sort of like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
like I would play, and that was the thing I was wondering to myself, like, wonder how many people played Drummond last night if he was 7K. And he probably would have been like, he's an unbelievable, probably nobody, right? But that would have been like an awesome play to make. You know what I mean? And if Dennis Smith Jr. was 6,500 tonight, I would be playing that play.
Well, we're going to find out because I think Embiid's out. Not Embiid. I think what's his name? Vooch is out for like 3 weeks.
Well, now he's going to be like 8K though.
Let's find out. Let's find out if people will really play him at 8K.
I'll bet you. Oh, so Giannis is in.
Ooh. Okay.
And Luka's in the front end of a back-to-back with a nationally televised game tomorrow. I'm going to bet Luka sits if I had to bet.
Yeah, but that's a big bet. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to know that until after something.
The one thing is, though, he's playing for an MVP. They're only they're not underdogs, which they certainly would be if he doesn't play. Vegas seems to think he's playing. So,
is this Brooklyn line really 8 with Giannis playing though?
Yeah, it's a little weird, right?
They have like no players.
It's a little weird, and Milwaukee didn't try. I understand it's a road game, but they didn't travel. They stayed in New York for Christmas, so they didn't have to leave. It does seem a little fishy, Sheets. I'm not against that take at all. I think that's true. But I also have
like you said, maybe Milwaukee just stinks.
I don't think they stink. I think they're really good. They just don't play defense. And when you don't play defense,
why is Cam Johnson projected for 34 fantasy points?
Because
Cam Thomas.
Why isn't he projected for more? He's a very scoring reliant player, and so the weird part is you go, Dinwiddie's out, so a big upgrade for Thomas. Not really. Dennis Smith Jr. is a higher usage player than Dinwiddie is. So it's actually, you know what I mean? It's the guys who are going to be on the court with him are actually not less active. Now, don't get me wrong. He could score 50 real life points in this matchup. It's actually a great matchup for him too. So I'm not against Cam Thomas as a play. I'm just saying that's the reason, in my opinion, that you're actually getting substituted in with guys who are going to be just as high usage, if not higher usage, than the guys who are out.
Okay, so the good news then is that do we have Brooklyn starters?
No.
Okay, I thought you mentioned something.
It's
going to be Day'Ron Sharpe and Cam Thomas and Dennis Smith Jr. and Royce O'Neal and somebody, right?
It could be something different. It could be what's his name instead of Royce O'Neal, and it could be
and the other one and Michael Bridges. It's going to be Thomas, Bridges, Sharpe, Smith, and O'Neal. I think.
No, yeah, very likely though. It could be Dennis. The NBA.com is projecting Dorian Finney-Smith starts.
He's out.
Wait a minute. How are they projecting that then? Yeah, he is out. What are we talking about? Sorry about that. Yeah, it's got to be probably. I guess they could start Watford. Yeah, you're right, Sheets. It's got to be those 5. That's weird. That is so weird. I guess I didn't update that page. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, I mean, look, good luck. And look, there are ways he can fail at Day'Ron Sharpe, but he's got some interesting pivots because you've got forward eligibility for Watford. You've got Harry Giles, who everyone's going to be terrified to play.
I have a question. Day'Ron Sharpe is only center, correct?
Day'Ron Sharpe is only center, yes.
Okay.
I like Bridges probably less than the field does, and Sheets made a great case for why not to play Bridges, and I'm going to roll with that case. I like the idea of doing that. In fact, if I was really handy and doing everything, I would probably bet all the unders on the Bridges props. And Cam Thomas, I think his projection has risen a little bit because you've got him now even at 37.
I'm redoing this right now. I'm redoing everything right now. I wonder honestly if there are props on Michael Bridges and what they are.
Yeah, that is a good question. Will Jalen Wilson play tonight, or will it be Keon Johnson? It's really hard to know. Dariq Whitehead.
Keon Johnson.
Keon, I'm just saying all the guys who could play potentially for Brooklyn.
Right.
So you want to play at least 2 from Brooklyn, but I don't think outside of Smith and Sharpe, maybe you want to play 3. I don't think there's a natural third guy unless you want to say, okay, well this is going to be a close game. Then we can play Cam Thomas. and Royce O'Neal, actually, for that matter.
And is this the second of a back-to-back for the Nets or first?
Yeah.
First, second one, right?
Yeah.
And Day'Ron Sharpe played yesterday. I presume. Would you say he played 32 minutes?
No, he played 21 minutes yesterday.
That's it. Okay.
Well, yeah, because what's his name was there.
No, that's fine. No, I'm more. You know what I mean? Like, if he played like 34 minutes, I'd be worried. You know, it's like,
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, like his projection for minutes is 28. I think even at 24, he probably would project right there next to DSJ. They're both really good plays. Armani Brooks is a good play, saying Twitty here, and I want to consider the Armani Brooks. I think that actually is an interesting play. The problem I have is I like Maxey. Okay, obviously,
sure.
I like the two centers, so we know what I'm doing with my lineup. I like Maxey in the two centers. I like Harris. Okay, so I'm using that in the forward spot. I really want to play at least one of Oubre or Melton also.
Yep.
Melton being my preferred one, and he's only guard eligible. So you get into a really weird spot with guards because DSJ is only point guard eligible. If I'm going to play DSJ, Maxey, Sharpe, and Reed,
well, we got to leave room for Hardy.
Hardy can play shooting guard.
Oh, great. Okay.
But the problem is, if you play the Philadelphia guys early, it won't matter because that spot's already going to be used by Anthony Melton.
Well, right. Well, that's the thing. We have to save a spot. Don't we have to save a spot for Hardy for a while?
So what I was trying to consider, what I was trying to consider is, well, first of all, the Vegas line, if it was 6 or 7 right now that they were underdogs, or 3 they were underdogs, or whatever, I would absolutely be convinced that Luka's out. The fact that Vegas only has it at 3 and them as a favorite really is hard for me just to justify assuming Luka's out. And even if Luka's out, it isn't a guarantee with how poorly he played that Hardy would necessarily get all the run like it was before. Now, he is a great fantasy point per minute guy, et cetera. But Josh Green is also supposed to be back tonight.
Are you sure?
Tim Hardaway Jr. is questionable. They're questionable officially.
Okay.
But the early word in the day was that Josh Green would try to come back tonight. But I mean, even his projection looks like they don't know what to do with him. So it's just tricky. Like, you know what I mean? This is, I guess, yeah, yesterday was more straightforward in that sense, but I think you have for me, there's 5 guys I'm considering between my 2 center spots. And I'm probably locking one in. So really there's 4, and it's probably going to be Reed as the other one. And then there's like all of the guards, which I like Maxey.
Yep.
I like and I love that his ownership is people are afraid to. I think it's a ridiculous projection on him. I think that he's getting 50 way more than he's getting anything else. 50 plus. Ooh. Maxey.
Yeah, especially coming off that last game where he was like 0 for the universe.
Yeah, he missed every shot until like his last one. Melton, I think then you prioritize one of Melton. Look, Tobias Harris, this is a real revenge thing that I did buy into in the past. His numbers, he averages like 8 more fantasy points per game with everybody healthy versus Orlando. Not to mention without Embiid, he's a monster. I think he's being underprojected. So those are 2 other spots for me.
So I want to throw something out there. Again, this doesn't mean anything really, but I don't know who's starting, whatever, but I'm looking at one site, and one site has Trent Wofford as like second best value and also 65% owned.
It's possible.
Yeah, so
he might. Well, okay, so what probably happened is what we didn't get until just now was probably the starting lineup, and maybe they announced. Nope, I don't see it still.
No, just from like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I guess people are probably overthinking on that site that he has to be in there to guard Giannis, so they probably bumped his projection up when Giannis is in. When in reality, a smaller guy like Royce O'Neal, who's a better defender, is probably the better matchup to guard Giannis. That's what I think.
Or it's possible that he gets that sneaky Michael Bridges minutes that if Michael Bridges doesn't get what people think.
Except for he doesn't play he doesn't have
play that position really.
Like multiple play. Mikal Bridges is like a shooting guard. Like he's like a true power forward center. Like he is not going to play anything else. But Armani Brooks would. And that's something I can use to
There
balance.
you go. All right, now we're digging in the weeds here. Okay.
The problem is he's also only point guard eligible. So if I could get either Maxey or DSJ as other guard eligible, I would be playing Armani Brooks. But I can't do it. I literally can't do it because I'm going to play Maxey most likely in my big buy-in tonight, and I am going to play DSJ, Sharp, and Reed, and I just don't have another point guard spot. Which sucks because I do think the Armani Brooks thing is an incredible thing to speculate on.
That's a low-owned play.
Yeah, because of the positions partially. I actually think that if he was small forward eligible, he might be really popular.
So I'm updating, just so everybody knows, I'm updating the.
Why don't they make him shooting guard eligible? Jesus. That's tilting because that at least would buy me an extra half. Oh, man, I think it is the right thing to do. He hasn't played in a while. Yeah. There's a lot of them, though. It could be White. I don't know. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
So my only issue now is do I want to play 4 Philly guys or 3?
Right. Or 4 Nets.
Or 4 Nets, right? And with meanwhile trying to maintain a little bit of being different. And if I play 4 Philly guys, I'd love a run back. So maybe I would play Paolo or Franz. They're on a back-to-back, but it's actually not a bad matchup for either of them, and they're going to be completely unowned. I think I like the idea of my first lineup, actually. Chris Middleton, even still, is the only one that I don't feel great about, but it's just I just needed one more spot. Like, simple as that.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the same lineup I had at noon today. No, I was like,
What?
I was going to say, I'm going to go with that same lineup I built at noon today.
See, that's why I'm glad I didn't build till later. So I'm actually feeling like I'm sort of on top of it without having to feel like I have to scramble.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let me say, and again, we still don't know what's going on with Luka. You know what? I'll have to live with the fact if somehow Mitchell is out to not have Porter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can't say for everybody.
Yeah, agreed.
There's just too many. I talked about this earlier. You know, it's nice to delay, but when there's such good plays early, you sometimes just have to go with it.
Yeah, I mean that's again, Franz. There was I think like 3 of the first game plays in the winner last night.
I thought about that. I at the end I just didn't know. Who did I play? Yeah, I didn't do it. I was gonna go with the Cade also. I just balked. I went with the Jaden Ivey instead.
Yeah, and I actually like the Ivy play for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And by the way, so did the field. I mean, he was much higher owned in that big buy-in.
He wasn't really that high owned at all though in the big buy either.
Like 16%, yeah.
That's like
But
right.
like, whereas he could have been like 3%. You know.
Okay, I just want to say right now that in my new runs, I would be getting, without doing Sims or anything like that, I'd be getting 100 of 4 guys, pretty much.
Right.
Well, it would be Sharp, Watford, Smith, and of course Luka.
Yeah.
So what do? Right? Like
Yeah. Let's see, Watford. It's a weird slate. I don't know what to say. You know who I love tonight is Scotty Barnes. I think he's like one of the best plays on the slate, and he's at least got forward eligibility. So when we were asked what other forwards do we like, Scotty Barnes is the first one that jumps to my mind of guys who I love. Unfortunately, are going to have the ownership, but I think he's just a great play.
Scotty Barnes
is going to be really popular.
Yeah, he's a great play.
And I really like the idea of using either Franz or Paolo as my run backs from the Philly-Orlando game. I think that's a really good way to go.
So what? I was asking a really dumb question. I was going to ask, when do you think the Luka news comes out? That's great.
After lock.
Probably after 7. Yeah, no, that's a good question. You think it might be after the net game locks, though? That's a good question also.
I think if we get that, if he's in, then we'll get it like 30 minutes prior to the game. I think if he's out, we'll get it like 10 minutes prior, just for maximum pain.
Right.
I'm gonna post my updated builds and my updated exposures in our Discord, just the premium Discord, just to give people an idea of where I'm at. I'll give away a little bit of it here because I have 100% Maxi, 100% DSJ, and 100% Tobias Harris. At the moment, because I decided to make a couple Mo Bamba and Harry Giles pivot lineups, and I like doing it together just to get way off the board. I'm actually a little bit lower on, so I have like only 75% of Sharp, which sounds like not like it, but I have one of he, Reed, Bamba, or Giles in every lineup.
Okay.
But the Giles ones I'm using for more the smaller buy and large field stuff. The problem I'm having is, do I play Watford with Sharp? Is that logical? That sound? And I don't think that it makes a lot of sense, but they're so cheap that I think that it make just enough, you know.
You like Middleton, really?
I'm stuck at 6,400. I think he's a good play. His minutes are back.
They are
2 terrible matchups with his minutes back, but he's going to be right. You know, like get me, even if he gets me 30, like I'm not even against that. Also, it's just a really good matchup. And I don't have, there's no other player in that price range except for Tim Hardaway Jr., who's also questionable and would leave me with nothing to do if he's out.
Right.
So let's see. We can play Day'Ron Sharp and Obama. I'm just getting all kinds of different variations of these.
I did make a rule, by the way, max 1 of Bamba and Paul Reed.
Max 1 of Bamba, Paul Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. This is what I wish I would have played more lineups and not, because I had so many of the right ideas I just didn't pull the trigger on. And I'm just kind of tilting myself, you know what I mean? So tonight I'd like to correct it a little bit and just stick with the, you know, hey, look, because I said it on our show the other day when we were doing the Christmas thing, and I was saying, like, look, I'm gonna have Eubanks or Metu in all my lineups. I didn't end up doing that, you know, and there wasn't anything else that took me away where that made it Metu any worse of a play. It just was other guys were good play, a little better plays, I guess. I have so much Banchero and Wagner today just because I keep running it back with somebody. Watford. Oh, I can throw Watford into the mix too as the other guy I'll play if I don't play them.
Wait, Dennis Smith Jr., Brooklyn, Cam Thomas, Dennis Smith. The hell.
So I'm going to build one of these. Okay. The Luca's out lineup. Hardy. And Exum. Hardy, Exum.
Dennis Smith Jr. Dennis Smith Jr. Why? Stupid FanDuel.
I'm doing the one Armani Brooks lineup.
Smith. Okay, so let's. Dennis Smith.
I'm throwing one Jared Allen lineup in just because I don't want to lie to everybody. So just throwing that out there.
Who?
Jared Allen just is in one of my lineups. Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Just I think Luka's going to play though now. I mean, I just think, like, can't we get this information? Like, come on, man, Christmas and everything.
Wouldn't that be nice, right?
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, I hope he plays because I currently have him in some lineups and kind of don't want him to change everything.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pretty much. It's a pretty lazy interpretation of why I wanted to play, but that is the truth. I kind of like my lineups though right now.
Yeah, I do too.
I
I'm
mean,
in.
like I don't know. I mean, they're definitely they definitely got a lot of variance, but and I guess I guess it couldn't hurt to use some Nets starting lineups, but I don't. We probably know what they are, and don't think it matters all that much.
Yeah.
I mean, if they announce like Harry Giles starting, for example.
Oh, then I think you're playing Harry Giles.
But then you're also playing Day'Ron Sharpe anyway.
Yeah, you still probably consider it, but I do think that if Harry Giles starts ever, you can sign me up as being one of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Definitely be aboard. I can't believe that. Yeah, we still. Oh yeah, theirs is not till a little later.
What, the Nets?
Paul Reed is in fact starting, so nothing to worry.
Okay. I really thought they would consider giving Bamba the start.
I mean, Paul Reed did the foul trouble though. I was watching the game like every second of it, and the foul trouble really did throw it off.
No, I know, but I mean, the guy had a good game. I mean, let him start.
Sure,
Who cares? I mean, like,
hey, you're talking to a guy who has 40% of Bamba today. Basically, in any lineup that I don't have Paul Reed is going to be.
You have one of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I committed to doing this in the live chat earlier today. I'm playing 150 in the $3 on FanDuel.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a $3.
I didn't either.
I did not look at FanDuel today. Big shocker, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody knows my FanDuel takes.
What I'm really considering right now is whether I want to play the 2-2-2-2 in football this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Well, solve that problem. Okay.
Yeah, you are. You better.
I better. I guess I have to play now. I guess I'll order the domestic wine at dinner tonight. Let's see.
Royce O'Neal. All right. I was trying to get if I had a stack of that one. How would we want it to look? Smith, O'Neal, Giles. I like the Giles idea. I think it's pretty definitely not what other people are thinking of. Wouldn't it be funny if Metu just came back and smashed again tonight?
That would be awesome.
But it's not like fluky. Like they're giving him like real minutes. You know what I mean? Like that was a real game. That was a Christmas Day game, and they literally used him for like 35 minutes.
For those of you that are playing on FanDuel, I'm getting a lot of Tari Eason over there.
If he plays, which I think is very possibly not going to happen.
Possibly not going to happen. Okay. Well, if he doesn't play, does that upgrade anybody?
Yeah, it would be all of the starters and then Jashawn Tate. But I think the real one, as I was mentioning earlier, would be Amen Thompson.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that I don't think people consider him quite maybe the way they should.
Let me see. So if I did another build without, I don't really need Tari Eason.
But he might. But again, if he plays, he's a good play, and he's been playing on the back-to-backs. He just usually has his minutes a little bit shorter. I like the Amen Thompson. I just wish I knew where to spend for it because I'm going to play DSJ and Maxey. Maybe I just don't. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe my Paul Reed love is a little too over the top. I don't think so though. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, so I would like Luka to be playing. I would like to have the news sooner than later. Don't think we're going to get it though. That's my opinion.
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts?
Cam Thomas. Yeah, I gotta get more Cam Thomas.
Phil is excited for the slate. I'm not as excited. What I am excited is about is getting lower ownership on a 6-gamer than you did on a 9-gamer for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Yeah.
But right now, you have currently the highest projected scoring player on the slate, point per dollar, that's outside of Sharp and Smith is Luka. Just because it feels weird. Yeah, so let me see my exposures now. Yeah, I've Sharp at 70%. Read it. So that means that I've got 30% of some Lyles Watford mix. 38% Reed. Hold on, what did I do with my other spot then? Oh, yeah. Where is my 38% Reed? Oh, Bamba, I've got 48%. That's what Oubre or OG as the last piece. Dunbar, that couldn't mean more to what your lineup actually looks like around that. Because if you have 4 players from Philadelphia already, then do not play a 5th. It would be my recommendation. And I like Melton better than either of those guys for what it's worth. But it's Oubre is the answer by a million miles. Oubre is the answer, but like if you want to get a little different, you play the Anunoby at much lower ownership. Jolly's playing Watford instead of Sharp. Okay, everybody can go for this.
Could play them both.
You could. I would like to see their starting lineup though before I make my final decision. That's really the only thing I'm waiting on right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you do anything else, which we will.
Harry Giles and man, I forgot the guy's name. Who's that guard? Who's the guard we were going to play?
Armani Brooks.
Yes, Armani Brooks. There's a very good chance that he's in the game at the end. By the way, whatever that means.
Armani.
Yeah. When all the scrubs are out there.
Oh, 100%. He's just a point. Again, if he was not point guard eligible, I would be all over it. But I'm playing Maxey and I'm playing Smith, so I don't have another choice.
Sharp, Watford, Smith. Getting a lot of Chris Middleton.
See? Because he fits. He fits.
Yeah.
The pivot would be Dante Exum. And you could even leave that money on the table. I mean, I like Middleton much better for safety, but look, if you get Luke out, Exum's the guy you're going to want.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be Sharp locked in, I think. I think that's going to have to be the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that okay? Am I allowed to do that?
Why? Yeah. What do you mean? It's a free.
I'm just talking here. Yeah, this is legal. I can definitely.
Somebody once told me, as a free country, you can do whatever you want.
That's what I'm saying. This is legal. This is the United States of America.
Yeah.
Do this.
Is Donovan Mitchell the best play on the slate? Like, should we just be stacking up that game in case Mitchell's out? Like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that game we're getting it's getting a little under repped here. Every game that Luka plays in, it's usually Luka, but somebody from the game is usually optimal because Dallas doesn't play a whole lot of defense either. All right, so I've got my Hardy, Hardaway, Exum, Donovan Mitchell lineup in the 200.
This is a good lineup. Or you would like this one. How about a lineup with Sharp, Sengun, and Donovan Mitchell? Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Everybody else chalk?
I'm a little worried about the back-to-back for Sengun, but then I forget that he's just the greatest specimen of all time, and I should never
he's just the greatest basketball player in the United States.
He's
not even from the United States, but he happens to be in the United States, right?
Yeah.
And then the Eason on
Joel, you're not playing Nurkic on this slate. Like, I don't know. Like I'm into the creative center thing. I'm into the idea of it. I'm not actually doing any of it, but I don't know if I can talk myself into the worst matchup and like one of the worst matchups this season. I guess Nurkic. I mean, like it's fine, I guess, but I'd rather play Jared Allen if I was forced the same price. And I would never be forced the same price because it's it's all Day'Ron Sharpe, Harry Giles, Mo Bamba in these parts. And a little bit of Watford. Maybe I need to get a little bit more Watford, I guess, just to feel a little better. I honestly don't even want to because Tobias Harris is basically a lock for me too. And like I can't even find another position. Yeah, I think Watford probably does get there though enough of the time where you can play him with Sharp.
Is Kuzma in? Yeah, he's in.
Kuzma's in.
Well, he was just another guy, some random guy that people were waiting on.
Yeah.
Or Jay
I'm
Barrett.
making one non-maxi lineup just for the Jalen Brunson love.
You know, it was probably a good play tonight. Is Bobby Portis.
Basically, anyone who's not in actually even Philadelphia is okay tonight. But in Philadelphia or Brooklyn, they're probly all good plays. Like,
Bobby Portis could be a good play tonight.
I think Bobby Portis is a really good play. I would love it if it was in Milwaukee too. Get that blowout run.
You don't think he'll get it on the road?
It's just harder to get the blowout. It's just harder to get the blowout on the road.
Yeah,
it happens, but teams are more likely to leave their guys in a little bit longer. I'll throw Run Bridges lineup in. All right. Just for S's and G's.
That would be legendary, by the way.
Bridges.
All the conspiracy theories, he plays 47 minutes.
But he's going to be owned too. It's not like there's people not going to play him, right?
It would be awesome if he played 47 minutes and get 90 fantasy points.
Are we looking at that weird situation where you get like, oh boy, can I do it?
Is it why does I love the FanDuel has Dennis Schroeder on the Celtics?
Schroeder on the Celtics.
In the picture, I mean.
That's weird because that's a couple teams to go for him.
Yeah, I know. They still have what's his name, the Philly pitcher on the Mets. I think Zach Wheeler.
Scott, I have a question. Scott's asking, is the Cleveland-Dallas game going to be competitive enough? I'm wondering which side we're asking.
Yeah, who do you think is going to blow the guy out? Who's going to win? Yeah. I mean, that's going to win.
It's like, Dallas is a 3-point favorite, and I think if they played this matchup, 100 times, Dallas would probably win 55% of the time. Like, I really do.
Well, that's probably the answer. That Bridges plays his 20 minutes and drops
52. He gets just his first and third quarter rotations and ends up with 40 real life points.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get a net starting lineup so I can go take a nap or something?
I think I'm actually done with what I need to do right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till 7:30 as well.
Yeah, but I'll be on the lookout for Luka news. I have to remember. I'll remember. Do me a favor, if you remember.
Yep.
You text me if he's out. I mean, yeah.
I will. I'll do it if I notice it or remember it all. I definitely will do it.
Yeah. You'll notice it. You just have to remember me. That's all.
No. Yeah. I'll do it.
All right. I'm gonna run.
All right.